What's up, guys, and welcome to another video. And today we are reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, just to clarify, when Guardians of the Galaxy first came out, or at least was first announced, people thought Guardians of the Galaxy was going to be the first Marvel flop because of how ridiculous it sounded. And Guardians of the Galaxy came out and was a surprising hit. And to me, I like Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, I still have some issues, and honestly, do I have any complaints about it? Honestly, yeah, the jokes aren't, funny at some seasons. They're straight up childish, but that is just small complaints. No. And I only have like one big problem with Guardians of the Galaxy. And we'll get over that later. Anyways, so yeah, we'll get over that later. Now, to me, did you know that they originally were going to have Chris Pratt have CGI buffness? But Chris Pratt decided to basically actually have abs. And to, one, not only, be healthy and whatnot, and, for the role and whatnot, but it may have saved a lot of time for the editors of the movie, that's for sure. But to me, man, Guardians of the Galaxy, to me, I thought some characters in here have pretty tragic backstories. When you go to think about it, all the Guardians of the Galaxy people are essentially all anti-heroes, essentially. Peter Quill is essentially stealing stuff. Gamora used to work for Thanos. Drax was in prison. Basically, all five of them are basically all, like, thieves, essentially. A lot of them are thieves. But to me, out of all the characters, Rocket, since we're going to see in the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy 3, is that, Rocket Raccoon, has these like weird looking spots in the back of his back. But, because that's definitely hints on his backstory. And now, because in the third one, we are gonna finally see Rocket's origin story, essentially. So, yeah. And then we have Peter Quill, played by Chris Pratt. And to me, I think the whole subplot of, Peter Quill and his mother, like, dying from cancer, that was actually pretty sad. But for some reason, his dying mother decided to give him a little gift, which that will play out a bit later. And then we have Gamora, who basically is the daughter of Thanos, the adopted daughter of Thanos. And Thanos was essentially a cameo in this movie, with a comic book accurate design, which listen, Thanos was essentially used to be a cameo character, honestly. If I gotta be honest with you, Thanos was essentially a cameo character. And this was until Infinity War came out. Like, Thanos honestly didn't really have a huge spotlight till Infinity War, which Infinity War is awesome. And I thought he was awesome in that movie. Now, I do think, and I'm going to say this, Guardians of the Galaxy has the best soundtrack. has the movie, the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, will forever have one of the best soundtracks in the MCU. And look at Thor Ragnarok. It had amazing soundtrack. Alright? Because it's just, but yeah. Overall, because obviously before this movie came out, there was just so much less confidence. But Kevin Feige knew what he was doing at that time. Alright? So yeah. Now, let's talk about the big problem. And now let's talk about the big issue with this movie that still bothers me to this day. And a lot of people would agree on me on this, but I think the heroes are good, but the villain has got to be one of the most generic villains in the MCU. Like, seriously. Like, Ronan did not do anything. Ronan did not do jack crap. Can I tell you why? What? He got an Infinity Stone. Woo-hoo! Woo freaking hoo. Like, seriously? Like, seriously? And I still think Ronan the Accuser was probably the weakest character in the entire film. I didn't think he was a good villain. Plus it looked like he went to a buffet and ate all the chocolate there, and now he looks like a baby face over here, looking like, you know, if a baby just doing that on the buffet, and their mouth is just completely covered in cake and whatnot. That's what Ronan looks like. I'm not kidding. And in my personal opinion, I'm honestly, like, even though I think Volume 2 wasn't as good as the first one, at least that movie had a better villain. A much better villain. Alright? Now, that's the only problem I have with the first one. With the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Is that even to this day, I think they should have made Ronan a much better villain. He could have been a much better villain. Now, what I thought of Drax? Drax, I think, was ultimately amazing. Because I like Drax. Alright? I think he went on to be one of the more funnier characters, but Groot, which is played by Vin Diesel, which is so weird to say because technically Vin Diesel's already in the MCU, but whatever. Now, what is my favorite Guardian in the Guardians of the Galaxy? Honestly, Rocket Raccoon, honestly. Out of all the people in the group, Rocket was probably my favorite one in the whole group, probably. But yeah. And just overall, we had the final battle. Yondu over here being basically a jerk towards Peter Quill. And then they beat the villain. Hooray, hooray. But they do set up a sequel by basically saying that his father is somehow some being or something. Which we were all questioning. Who was Peter Quill's father? Well, that question was answered in the sequel. Or his biological father, I would say. But yeah, that does get answered in the sequel. Overall, I think Guardians of the Galaxy, I thought, was a pretty good film. Like, I think that Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, is one of the more underrated Marvel movies. But I still think I'll give it like a 7 out of 10. Pretty good, pretty decent. Now I know there's a post-credit scene of Howard the Duck, which Howard the Duck, that whole topic in of itself has a whole video in of its own. But yeah, now Now I just think that, Guardians of the Galaxy, overall, I think Guardians of the Galaxy was definitely a good movie. Now, yeah. And that's it. Guardians of the Galaxy came out in 2014 and was a surprising success. Enough of success that a sequel was made, which we'll be covering next. Alright, guys? I want you guys to stay tuned for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.